This conference will now be recorded.
All right, everybody can hear me okay? Yes, we've got several people. So this is the week 4 live session, and we've got several people in attendance: Alana, Hiba, Riza, Sarah, Shari. I'm so glad you guys are here. Tonight, we're going to talk about package design. This is your week 4 assignment. You're going to design a package that goes with your brand. When you look at the week, it's very familiar. You're going to do some work, post what you've got by Thursday, provide some peer feedback on Friday, and then you're going to complete your package design based on the feedback you got, and you're going to complete a presentation of your entire brand identity project. So you're making a video similar to what you did with the hero portrait of this entire project for the last 3 weeks. And then you're done, and you get an A+ in color theory, and you go on to have a great life. Sound good? As always, if you are in a quiet place, you may turn on your microphone. I'd love to hear from you. So why do we have package design and color theory? Well, when you think about package design, color is really a huge element. It's before you can read the type and see things close up. You see the color and it signifies many different things to you: flavors, varieties, quality, type of product, what category it's in. All these things are being telegraphed to you through the color of the packaging. So it's a bit of branding, product category, price point, and attract attention. That's what's going on with color. If you think of it like a person, this is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So this is what people need to live. So you need food and water, you need to feel safe, you need to feel like you're part of a group, you need to feel like you're a valued member of the group, and then it all comes together for you. Well, packaging does a lot of the same things. It provides a container for the product. It keeps it safe from the elements, from air, water, sunlight sometimes. Social needs, this would be like your category: cookies, tea, coffee, candy, salty snacks, whatever category you're in is kind of like your social group. And then you want to be the best candy, the best coffee, the best cookie, whatever you are, so that people take you home. It's a bit of marketing and a bit of uh, industrial design, a little bit of engineering as well. The trick is to be in your category but stand out from your competition. So here are some chocolate bars. Do you guys think these all look like chocolate bars to you? No, Hiba. The shape, yes, Riza, it does look like a chocolate bar shape. So, Hiba, why do you say no? What are you looking at? The colors, yes, obviously the colors. Um, Most people feel like this looks like a chocolate bar because it has sort of chocolate color cues. Yes, Solana, that's what you're saying right there. So, but like for instance, this one, blue, there's no blue food. This doesn't signal a flavor to me. I'm not really sure what flavor this is. Black and red, maybe hot chili peppers. This looks like wasabi or cut grass. Maybe this one's Skittles. I don't know. So color tells us flavors. And in the case of this blue one, blue isn't really a flavor, so it's kind of hard to tell. So here's some more chocolate bars. Do these all look like chocolate bars to you guys? Yes, Seba, they do. And I think it's primarily because the logo looks like it's made of chocolate. It's raised ink that's kind of glossy, and it feels like it was dripped in chocolate. Now, even though this is blue here, and this is silver and purple, it still feels like chocolate. Do you think these are expensive? Yes, Alana, they are like the rectangular shapes of Hershey bars. Well, what do you think these are price point wise? Yeah, Heba says more costly. Yeah, they could cost a bit more. I think the design is so well done. To me, it sort of signals a quality product. To me, if a product packaging is, yeah, $5, yeah. So the design sort of signals quality a lot of times. If it's poorly designed on the outside, maybe it's poorly designed on the inside. Yeah, right, so fun. Um, so here are some ice cream bars. Would you buy these? Do these look good to you? Alana says yes. They do look amazing. The colors are wonderful. Yes, the product itself looks pretty appetizing. So, a hint of spice. So there's signals to you in the background of what the ingredients are, and yet the product itself in its finished form looks pretty appetizing. They've got sort of a South Asian feeling, sort of Indian or Pakistani, and it feels like an area of the world where they're famous for sweets. So it kind of signals the right thing. The bright colors are very appealing. And this is something you can use as you design your own package. If your product is beautiful and delicious looking, you should show it for sure. Here's Pepitas potato sticks. These are maybe not so beautiful to look at, but they're kind of fun, snacky food that you don't think about too much. So the design reflects that kind of whimsical, spur of the moment look. Makes sense? So this is a bit of packaging. You're trying to figure out what the appeal is of your product and make sure that that's highlighted. Here's Firefly Peach Tea. And again, there's these botanical sort of illustrations that signal flavor to us. As humans, we have a gut response to color and food and flavors. We look at something and we can tell, is that something I want to eat or not? So that's a large part. If you're doing a food product, your color choices make a big difference. But even if you're not doing food, there's a lot of creativity. Here's this dog shampoo. I love this in this um, fire hydrant shampoo bottle. A few years ago, Converse was going out of business, and the classic Chuck Taylor shoe that they make, couldn't go away. So they tried packaging it like a fine wine, like in this old wooden crate, and it actually created enough attention to the shoe, drew enough interest that Nike ended up buying them. It's good design, yeah. I love these little details. The tag. All right, this is from a website called Design Force Inc. Now, Design Force Inc. makes products, packaging products for virtually every major company. And this is what they say, things to consider before executing design and color choices in packaging, which is basically what you're about to do. So you should know what your brand stands for, but you all do because you've memorized your creative brief. Who's your customer? You know that because you did your uh, target audience. What about the brand color included prompts a buy response from the targeted consumer? So this is a fancy sort of marketing way of saying, what's going to make people want to buy this? If it's a beautiful, delicious ice cream bar, maybe seeing it is enough. If it's something that, like a soap that provides a beauty benefit, maybe the end result is what you want to see, how it actually affects people. Maybe it's a product that you use, in a certain situation that you want to see, like in a romantic dinner or out on the campsite. So you have to sort of think through what's going to be the key thing that's going to make people, and you get this from reading your creative brief, but you want to somehow draw people in with some imagery and language that gets people excited about your product. When packaging for a global audience, what meanings are ascribed to the colors used? Well, we're pretty much focused on North America, but you should be aware that colors mean different things in different parts of the world. And so you would have to think about that carefully if you're going to a global audience. Can a unique color be developed to support the brand? Each of you have a unique color that you've been assigned that you're working with, and that's kind of your launching point for all of this. That's going to become like your signature color. How does the chosen package color make the consumer feel? You can use your own resources to do a focus test if you want on your stuff. Certainly posting it to the discussion gives you a little bit of reaction, but if you want somebody in your target audience, maybe they're older, you can send it off to them and get a gut reaction. You don't want design advice, you want an emotional reaction. Yes, yum, or no, yuck. And then this last rule is if a retailer shows only a few items in a product line, does it all work together? Well, you're only doing one, so that doesn't really affect you. But I'm going to show you design, where it is, Design Force Inc. There we go. This is the website I got that from, Design Force Inc. I'm going to post this URL in the discussion here. It's interesting to, if you're really into packaging, this company knows they're the industry leader. They know what they're doing. You can read articles here, find out the kind of cool things they're doing. So when you look at their package design, product lines, they've got all these amazing products they're working on. Some of them are games, some are toys. For our class, we're pretty much focused on packaged goods. So fun to look at, a little bit of inspiration perhaps if you're looking for that. Back to the lecture. So let's look at some more examples. So here is Mon Choco, Artisan Chocolatier de Côte d'Ivoire. And they're using this little bit of paper with a gold foil, very nice. And then what I would call an illustrative pattern. So it's a pattern, but it's made up of illustrations that tell a little bit of the story of how this is fair trade harvested. What do you guys think? Yeah, now illustrative patterns are kind of a new trend and they're fun if you can figure out how to do them. They take a little work. Yes, I think this is innovative and you'll see more examples coming up. There it is. The gold tells you it's expensive, right? It gives you a little bling. Here's some more chocolate bars. Now they're using this, have a product line, different products, the same sort of structure of the design, same fonts, and then great variation in color, which signals flavor attributes. So there's a purple, an orange, a nice green, lemon chocolate. I can't imagine what that's like. And when they put them all together, it looks like a set of books. Here's a restaurant from Russia called Mama Mafia's. There's the logo. I love this logo. It's just a silhouette, but you can see the character. You can just imagine the character that belongs to. They're also using sort of an illustrative pattern, different spot illustrations. Shari, you've been to Russia. Did you go to Mama Mafia's? They serve burgers, pizza, and sushi. So when you look at the pattern here, they've got a Yakuza gang member who's making sushi. They've got a sort of mafia guy who makes pizza. Squid armed with baseball bats and a gun. Yeah, the design is quite good for this. So a little bit of riskiness, a bit of irreverence, maybe that works for fast food. It's not something super serious and elegant. It's kind of fun and a little irreverent, like I said. Yeah, it's a weird combination. And being from New York, I just love seeing a pizza box with Russian writing on it. Yeah, risky. Here's some candy. Now, Buttermilk, this logo, which is a word mark, looks like it's made of milk. So it's kind of drizzled on there nicely. They're using another kind of illustrative pattern along the side. And the product, they have a product photo, but the product is not particularly pretty. So they added these little spot illustrations to enhance it. You could do that with your stuff. If you have a product picture and you want to make it look a little more fun, maybe add some illustrations, add some patterns. It's more opportunity to express your brand in different ways. All right, now, if anybody can turn on their mic, this is much easier, but we're going to do before and after. I'm going to show you some products that were redesigned. I want you to tell me what they changed and why. So first up is Luden's. This is before on top and after underneath. What'd they do and why?
They used color in the packaging.
Yes, Shari, exactly. There's a lot more color on it. What do you think that does for them?
Well, for one, it's easy to see which flavor you're looking for
Exactly.
without having to just read
Read it.
each and every one.
Yeah, it's a flavor cue, and more than just like you don't have to read it. It's sort of like gets your appetite a little bit, you know. Obviously, this is moved into the realm of candy from medicine, you know. So there's some changes there. Anything else? Christian, you were about to say something.
Yeah, I was gonna say something about how the colors were a social cue to to represent flavor. That
Yes.
was all. But as far as what else is different,
The logo changed.
Yes, the logo changed. How did it change, Riza?
To a more fluent and fun logo.
Yeah, this is like super serious medicine, and then now here it's a little more inviting, friendly, perhaps. Yeah, it's still, Alana, it still kind of has a vintage look. It's an old company, so they do want to have that old look, but it looks updated nicely. All right, you guys are good at this. All right, next one, Don Julio, before on the left, after on the right. What they
Left
do
is
and why.
before.
What, Riza?
The left one is before.
The left one is before, yes.
And notice the color.
Made.
The color, yeah.
Right.
This is a brighter yellow, and they sort of mellowed it out to more of a beigey paper color.
doesn't it seem more
They also
bold?
made the
The one on
browns
the right.
richer.
Yeah, the one on the right, Christian, looks a little stronger graphics. You can see them a little better. What were you going to say? I think Shari was talking. Shari?
It was Hiba.
That was me, Hiba.
Oh,
Yeah, I was thinking that they changed the color of the glass. It looks like it's richer and darker, and all the stopper on top, it makes the bottle look more expensive.
yes. Yes, but that's you know, you're adding value through design. It actually looks like it's more expensive. Yeah, go ahead.
I would also like to say that the sticker on top of the bottle looks a lot more clean. There's not much on top of it, so I think that makes it look a little bit nicer as well. It kind of sort of goes with that more simplistic look that design is having.
Yeah, this fancy shape around añejo seems extraneous, not necessary. It's cleaner here. It's a different variety. This is reposado, but I'm sure the label design would translate. But I liked a couple things down here. This agave plant that's behind the text, it just looks like dirt. It's kind of like too many things in one spot. Here they put it in a little gold ring, and now it's something special and unique. They've added the silhouette of Don Julio, which you can just imagine him on horseback surveying the agave fields, and the type is just cleaned up. Everything's just cleaned up and a little better. And I think what you were saying, Hiba, was that it makes it look more expensive. And that's kind of the key thing. Here's Michael's Peanuts, before on the left and after on the right. What did they change and why?
They changed the size of the font.
Yes. Now, what are they trying to do there? Where's the emphasis?
Size, like the nuts are extra large.
Well, the word farm here and the word farm here are significantly different sizes, right?
Yes.
So what do you think, Christian,
Yes.
from a sort of marketing standpoint, what were they trying to change the image about it?
Just saying that there's, it's being, the farm in which they grow it is vastly big. I guess maybe something like that.
Well, I think they're trying to emphasize the organic nature of it. They're not really saying organic, but they're saying, this comes
Yeah.
from a real farm. Right. A little more appealing. Go ahead, Shari.
They also changed the entire look of the packaging itself. Like the one on the left, it just looks flatter. There isn't a lot in it. And the one on the right, it looks like you're getting more. And the word that stuck out was premium quality. So I think the
Yes.
reason why they went with that is to show off the fact that they're premium and not just any old nut out there.
Yeah, this feels very generic, and now it feels like it comes from a fancy farm, and definitely changed the whole look. That's exactly right. I think, to me, this is like 7-Eleven, and this is Whole Foods. Makes sense?
Definitely.
Yeah. They also took out the window, and in this case, a window doesn't really help with peanuts because peanuts pretty much all look the same and they're not super pretty. They don't have different colors or things. If this was jelly beans, then maybe, yeah, show a window. But with peanuts or coffee beans, it doesn't make sense, really. All right, here's lasagna before and then after. What'd they do and
They
why?
changed the color to kind of help the consumer picture. Red. Red is the color that's associated with lasagna, and
Yes,
red, I guess, it triggers a type of that's tasty. Like
exactly, Christian. Yeah, this is more of a food color and it's more associated with lasagna. This blue packaging makes me think of Kraft macaroni and cheese. Alana, yeah, you thought of fancier lasagna. So it upgraded quite a bit. How about the picture here from this one to this one? Makes a difference?
more home style on the right.
Yeah, this looks like school lunch.
Yeah.
And this is Gourmet Magazine. Yeah, right.
I liked the font that they chose for the new version, because it's cleaner and it's crisper. Everything's the same instead of the left one where one of the words is different than all the other fonts.
Yeah, lasagna lista. Yes, it's more organized and better designed, basically. All right, let's look at this. This is water, bottled water here on the right. And then here on the left is the new design, and it's really close up at the label. So what do you think? What did they do and why?
They took away the color on the right side because I noticed it's saying subhead, agua mineral natural. They're trying to give it that natural vibe, that clear, this water is clear, it's natural, no preservatives, nothing added to it. Because the one on the left, it's got, the red going for it, and the, water's not red or green. I guess they just wanted a pure white or
Yeah,
clear type of thing.
This looks like it's made of ice, right? So this over here to me looks like pool chemicals, right?
More cool, refreshing.
And this one, yeah, it looks like vodka. All right, so let me ask you guys, how much do you think this side, how much this is this per bottle?
Like $1.50 maybe.
And how much on the right? How much is that worth?
It looks like maybe at $3 maybe.
Right. Yeah, so essentially, yeah, $3 or $4. So essentially, better design suddenly added $3 or $4 to the bottom line. When you go out to become a graphic designer and you work for a company, you're adding value. This could be the greatest water in the world, but they'd never get their price with this terrible design. Once the design is upgraded, consumers are willing to pay more, and that's because of the work that you will be doing as a professional designer. You're adding money to the bottom line. It's not just for fun. It's for profit. Make sense, guys? Yes, everyone's nodding their head silently. Yes, all right, great. All right, beer before here and then after on the right. What did they change here and why?
On the right,
The logo,
Yeah, the
the
logo is a lot
pairings.
more powerful. Right, Riza. What were you going to
I
say,
almost
Christian?
want to say, oh, sorry, my bad.
No, go ahead, Alana.
this-
Alana and then Christian.
Sorry, I was just about to say that the right bottle looks a lot more, for the lack of better terms, just a little bit more epic. I like the green glow behind the A.
Yeah,
It's a lot cooler.
he's kind of making a bold statement here, whereas this is sort of pathetic. I mean, it's just sort of wilted, like a wilted flower or something. Go ahead, Christian. What were you going to say now?
yeah, pretty much the same thing. Like the inner glow right there, it kind of reminds me of like Heineken, you know.
Right.
And it creates that sort of association, you know, through that type of design, and also the font. The fonts are wildly different, you know. That cursive, it kind of, you know, gives the, you know, it like brewmaster kind of gives it that type of feel. Like this was brewed by professionals as opposed to the one on the left. This was brewed in somebody's basement, you know.
Yeah, I would agree, Christian. Yeah, so this label has good hierarchy. The logo is
Yes.
dominant. Other elements are organized in a way that this information is staged properly. This has not clear hierarchy, but the word India stands out, which is perplexing because it's really India Pale Ale. It's not just India. The logo is anemic and kind of gets lost. So thinking about the hierarchy of your design and what people are going to see first and second and third and all that. That's one of the things you're going to think about. All right, so this is Rice-A-Roni. It's not great design, but I'm using this as an example because it virtually has everything you could possibly put on a package on one package. So let's go through it and just sort of reverse engineer Rice-A-Roni and see what types of things you might put on your packaging. So first thing you want to figure out is where the primary display panel is. So this is the part that faces the consumer. If you think about this box, it's a very narrow vertical shape so that it can have maximum shelf space facing you. Captain Crunch on the front of the box, looking at you, waving at you. That's the part where some key elements are going to go. When you design it, you're going to design it flat like this. And there are certain key things that go on the front panel. So first of all is your logo. You've all worked so hard on your logos. You're gonna make sure that it stands out, good hierarchy. The descriptor line, this is coming from your creative brief and you're gonna figure out what are the few words that I wanna say that make people realize what this is. Does this make you smarter? Does it make you taller? Does it make you more beautiful? Is it delicious in some way? Long grain and wild rice, and I have two lines, tender long grain and wild rice with herbs. crazy. Ingredients, everything has ingredients. Some of them might just say coffee or tea, but if it's soap or if it's chocolate, all these things have ingredients. So you're gonna find some ingredients to put on your package. Net weight, this has to be on the primary display panel. It has to be very clear. Now, sort of a design principle for me, whenever I have to have something on the page, I put it on the page first, because I don't want to get my design all finished and then realized, oh, I forgot this thing that has to be there, and now it's going to wreck my design. So make sure you get that on first, as well as your logo. Ingredients, anything that has nutritional value of any type has to have nutritional facts. So you're going to find one of those to put on your package. Barcode, you're going to get a barcode and put that on the bottom or the back somewhere. Directions, how to make rice-a-roni. You might not need directions, but you could add a story, tell something about your company. You know, we've been doing it the same way Grandma did it 35 years ago, you know, or how to enjoy the product better. They also have multiple other things that I'm not going to ask you to use, but let me go back. This is called, this is a recipe. This little recipe card popping in here is called a violator. They've got directions how to use a microwave. They've got all this stuff. Don't junk your package up with a whole bunch of stuff. So that's my advice. When you look at your template, there's an Illustrator file that you're going to use to build this. And then there's images that show you what it looks like. So let's go to the assignment. Here we go. Preview. All right, so here we are, week 4, package design. This is a very brief overview of what I've told you in the lecture, so it's just sort of a reminder, but this live session being recorded is really a resource for the details of what you're doing. There are 4 files here. They're 2 pairs, so rectangular carry case.ai goes with rectangular carry case zip. This is a Photoshop file. This is an Illustrator file. As you'll see when you watch these videos, you're going to design in the Illustrator file and then put it into the Photoshop mockup, and it will miraculously become 3-dimensional and look great. The pitch lid and tapered side AI goes with the pitch lid and tapered side mockups.zip. These are zip because they're kind of large files, but they're just Photoshop and Illustrator. A video explaining how to use the files, a little bit of adjustment. And then when you're all done designing your, yeah, Shari has questions. So when you're all done designing this, you're going to put it together in your presentation template and make a new Spark presentation of your entire brand identity project. All right, Shari, what is your question?
Those 2 files, we get to just pick one out of them to make the packaging, right?
Correct.
Or do both?
You don't have to do both. Do one. Do one, do it really well.
Okay.
Doing 2 doesn't get you extra points. Doing great work gets you extra points. And more inspiration I'm going to provide to you right now. There's another website called The Die Line. The Die Line. I'm going to copy this. I think it's in the assignment as well. I'll provide this. Now, the Die Line is a website for professional package designers, and it's an industry website, and it's got fantastic examples of products. One of the things you can do, so say you were doing chocolate, right? Well, I could go into the search window here and type chocolate, and it will give me examples of what people are doing with chocolate. And I could look at somebody else's packaging and get ideas for what types of things I might add to my packaging. So here's a Mexican chocolate. So look, they're putting the percentage of cacao. I might not have thought of that, so now I could add it. They've got these little symbols here that I don't know what they mean, but let's see. neat printing on the bar itself. Not a good close-up picture here, but there it is. So a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of design advice. Let me show you a student example. So this is Elena. She did Bermuda Tea. She used Adobe Dimension, which is not something I'm teaching, but if you are interested and really good at learning programs quick, you could learn to do that. She took her design of her package and composited it into a photograph to make it look very realistic. So this is sort of the A+ work that you want to aim for. If you do a great design and it's just on a white background, that's fine, but putting it in a composite actually makes it a little better. Here's Maria's for Zinnia Tea. She was a campus student, so we actually print these on campus and assemble them, and then she ran home and did a photo shoot of it. So at this point, you're sort of taking a lot of pride in your work, and you want to show it off as best you can. So consider that when you get to this final frame. This is the only thing that's due this week aside from the video presentation of all your work. If you've kept up to speed with everything and have all of it in your presentation, it should be a pretty simple week. Obviously, getting it done really well takes enormous effort. So, what do you guys think? Any questions? Everyone's.
I actually have a question.
Yeah, Shari.
When I was putting together my logo last week, I was having a lot of trouble because I used a pattern inside the logo of getting the pattern to stay where it was.
Okay, so that is a tricky question. But since we have a little extra time, I'll explain that to you. So one thing you can do with your logo, once you've got it positioned, you can expand it and it should turn into vector lines instead of a pattern. But there's a number of ways to control patterns inside of a shape. I'll just make a new document. All right, so I'm gonna make this shape here and I'm gonna fill it with a pattern from my stock patterns. This one, that's by Von Glitzka. All right, so you see how this is sort of off center. This is what you're talking about, right? Like it's like there's more of it on this side. So if I click this and I go to transform and I can say move, and don't move the object, just move the pattern. And then I'm gonna hit preview and horizontal and start moving it. Do you see how it's moving now?
Uh-huh.
Now I've just moved it. I can eyeball it into the center spot and say, okay. Is that helpful?
That is helpful. But when I tried to copy and paste that into my other document,
All right, because
it messed it up.
Yeah,
it
because
moved
it's gonna. So if you instead of copying and pasting your logo into other documents, save your logo as a final file and place the file, not the logo itself, but the logo file into the other documents.
Oh, because I was taking screenshots of it and then placing the screenshot because that was the only way to like hold the pattern where it was. Because every time I moved my logo, it moved the pattern.
All right, here's another advanced topic that would help you. So once I get this design done, I like this and I want to keep it. You can use libraries, Adobe libraries. You ever used that before?
Not really.
So what Adobe libraries are is sort of like a cloud storage for different files. So you can create a library based on a thing. I have one called Color Theory. You could create one based on your brand. Now, if I take this object here with this pattern in it, and I go to the little plus sign in my library, and I say, add this graphic, it's telling me it's legacy format. I guess that's because of the older pattern. Anyway, so now this is a piece of artwork. Now, if I close this file and don't save it, I'm going to create a new file. there it is. It's still in the library right there. If I drag it out, there it is. Now, see the
Oh.
big blue X in there? That's
Mhm.
telling me that it's linked to the library, right? So this will not change unless I go into the library and change it. So if I double click on the library item, now I'm in Never Never Land. I'm in the world. See how long this file name is? This is just what's in the cloud. If I go and change this pattern, let's change it to this one, and then close this out and say, yes, save it. It's saving, thinking. Let's see what happens to it automatically updated.
Oh.
So this is super handy workflow because you could place your logo in 15 different things and then realize, oh, I want to change this one little thing in my logo. Well, all you have to do is double click on the cloud item, change it there, and it will update in all 15 items.
So if I wanted to move this from like Illustrator into InDesign, could I just use my library to move it
Yes.
there, or does it not?
No, the library works across all the Adobe apps. So that's a typical way to work is to, when you get into InDesign, is to place things from the library right into InDesign as well. Create new, all right. So I got a new InDesign document and there it is, CC Libraries. If I go to my color theory library, there it is. There's that same thing, right? So I can drag that out and now it's in InDesign.
Oh. Huh, I didn't know that.
Screenshots are almost never a good idea, especially when you're designing for print. You can't use screenshots at all. So try to avoid that, and just remember that the Adobe programs all kind of have ways of working together to make it easier for you. So if you're finding it difficult to go from one program to another, there's probably an easier way.
Okay.
I hope that's helpful for everybody. Yeah. All right. Yes. Now, I'm telling you this as sort of an advanced topic. Of course, you can always just save an Illustrator file and then place that Illustrator file elsewhere. So you don't have to use the library. Libraries can get complicated after a while, and it's sort of an advanced topic. So as I said. All right. Now, I noticed in the discussion, almost everybody gives me screenshots from their projects. If you save out of, when you go, you're in InDesign and you go export as a JPEG, and you can export as many pages as you want and place those in the discussion. JPEGs work better in the FSO discussion. You can also save it out as a PDF and just save the pages you want. I would do smallest file size for demo purposes. And then you can place those also in FSO, but don't do screenshots, because when you do screenshot, I get all the guides and it looks kind of low res and not the best way. All right, Chris, what is your question about the past 2 week assignments? Week 2 assignments or 2 weeks?
No, the past 2 weeks assignments, the bigger assignments, the last two ones where we had to upload our PDFs
Yes.
onto the FSO, So
Yes.
yeah, like I said, I contacted, FSO's technical support to try to help me figure out what the issue is. The week 2 we were able to figure out. Week 3, I'm still not sure what happened. I uploaded the InDesign file first, and then I was able to, by continuously repetitively like clicking the upload button, I was able to get the actual PDF file up on there. But yeah, going back to week 1, I've been having issues of uploading to the FSO platform, and for week 2 and week 3, the FSO launcher, because I couldn't upload it, counted as me not completing the assignment. So how do I get around there? They're both up there. Both my projects, my deliverables are up there
Is your
on
instructor,
the platform.
am I your instructor or is it Professor Penna?
You're my instructor. According, yeah, it's like when I.
So I'll make sure and take a look to make sure you get credit for the assignments you uploaded. Now, issues with FSO support is supposed to help you with that. Because that's what it sounds like. It's problems with the website. It's not problems with the projects, right?
Yeah, no, the projects, I'm able to open them up, no problem. Especially with the how-to videos that are on there. I can just watch how you do it and just emulate it. But it's the actual website platform itself that I'm having trouble with. It's like, I'm trying to just like upload them, like upload small things too, to see if it's like a matter of like of size, of file size. Like, are my files too big? But then I'm like, even after condensing them, still there's an issue. So
Yeah.
I'm at the point where they're trying to see if it's my computer or the platform itself.
All right. Well, now that you've alerted me to that, I'll make sure that you get credit for your work. But yeah, keep working with the FSO support people because they'll help you. All right, Hiba, you are supposed to use a PDF when you look at the assignments, right? Every week, the discussion is where you could use a JPEG, but in the final assignment, you should use a PDF of the multiple page presentation template. And it says that in the instructions. So I don't want to be confusing about that. I'm really only talking about making JPEGs for the discussion so that you can show your work in progress. Don't submit InDesign files. InDesign files have links in them. They're linked to the stuff you placed. So if you just give me the InDesign file without the supporting files, I can't really see it properly. That's why InDesign is a good tool, because you can make a PDF very easily from InDesign and it'll show all your work. Is that helpful, Hiba? All right, good. All right, we're going to end the session for now.